Alright, what's going on, y'all? We're keeping it going with my trading journal. So this morning, pre-market, I want to say this. Generally speaking, because I got young babies and I take my young babies. I got a 4-year-old, 3-year-old, and I got to take them to school in the morning. Hi, son. And so I generally trade from 6:30 to 8, and I'm done. I don't. By the time I'm at work and I'm doing everything, so I really focus highly on the best setups right at the open because that's I got that first hour, and that's how I roll. So bottom line is here with today there was two opportunities. There was JAGX who had a lot of pre-market activity, and then there was MYO who had also a lot of pre-market activity. So let's decide. Let's look at why I chose MYO over JAGX. Okay, it's going to be several things. First of all, this is the daily. Okay, the daily is pretty crappy. See, it's at its lows. It's been stalemating at its lows for a long time. Um, so you got to see some big time volume to wanna get it. The other thing is there's a ton of bag holders. Look at all of these people who have been shorting. Look at all this red. Just been shorting. This would be like what Tim refers to as a crow. This is a crow. It's this is a crow setup here. So it's just an ugly chart, and so it wasn't gapping to like any MA. If it was gapping up here above the 20, there would have been some excitement there. It had about roughly 2 million in volume pre-market, but let's go look at the pre-market. And so this is JAGX. Okay, this is JAGX during the pre-market. So let's see here. So I came in here and I lined it up and I looked at everything. Let me make sure. Yep, cool. Okay, so what you can see pre-market, this is the light gray, you recall. Okay, I'm gonna go back a little further. Or actually, you know what? Why do that when I can just zoom out? Okay, one more. There it is. Let me pause this for a second. My apologies, I had to pause that. But yeah, what I was saying was the pre-market, you can see it shoots up pre-market and then it kind of ramps down. Like it's just working down. And generally what I've noticed, stocks that are raging pre-market, they ain't working down. Okay, they're usually working up. And so I just really wasn't feeling this because it was just working down. And then the daily chart, as we already looked at, and I'll just give you a fresh reminder, the daily chart was crappy. So just really wasn't, there was nothing there for me. So I decided to choose MYO. Okay, and so let's go there, and I'll talk about the pre-market after I talk about the daily. So let me go back over here and pull up the daily. MYO. Okay. All right. So this is a stock that's gapping up, as we can see, and when it's gapping up, and it's gapping right here. So this old area of resistance now becomes support. So that was good. And then I saw that it could run up to the MA, okay, or to this resistance right here at about 128, 129. So we can see kind of, son, don't touch that. Hey, don't touch that. Get off the door. 1 second. Sorry about this. Okay, so sorry, as I was saying, I was gapping to support. Okay, we can see this red line I have here, and we can see that it had a little range where I could see it getting here to the 128, running into this area right here and being resistance. We see the bag holders, so I knew it wasn't going to run big because there's way too many bag holders. We can see, look at all this red. Look at this red from, what is that, 220 to 130. So you already know that this thing ain't seeing anything better than 130, but we got a range. We got something that's defined. Okay, so the daily looked better than JAGX, considering that these were the two most volatile stocks during pre-market. So then we go over here to stocks to trade. I love this stocks to trade deal. I recommend it to anybody because all the pennies and the OTCs, you can see all of that stuff live. As opposed to like I'm sure you can see it other places, you just got to probably pay for it, which is what I'm paying for anyway. It's stocks to trade, so it's just a preference thing. But okay, look at this. Ramps up, pulls back, ramps back up. Okay, and it's consolidating, in my opinion, right into the open. I like this type of deal. Why? Because it's consolidating right into the open. This is not something that's stair stepping down. Okay, it really hasn't broke this this level right here, and also it's right here at VWAP. So my plan, I looked at this, I saw this pre-market. Here's my watch list. So this is everything I look at in the morning. Basically, I saw all of these stocks, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I broke down 8 stocks today. Most of them were dip buys. The first thing I do is I break down recent runners, former or earnings winners, and I said, let me say this better: recent spikers and recent earnings winners. And I say, hey, if these things panic down into certain locations, I'm willing to dip buy them. Okay, that's my number one strategy, is to dip buy or buy the open, which would be, when you consider pre-market activity, can also be considered a dip buy. Okay, so anyhow, I broke all of these down, and then the last two were the two most volatile stocks. So I only look at the two most volatile pre-market stocks. I'm not trying to look at like 4 or 5 different things because you just can't see everything. You can't. Okay, and I operate off of one computer. I don't have two. And I can get another one, but it's just, you know what? I like to really be focused on what I like, and that makes the world easier for me. Okay, so anyhow, I'm seeing this, I'm putting this together, and I go to this one, and here's what I wrote. Up on a contract win this morning, has significant pre-market activity. Yes, son. Okay, come on, man, let's go. I apologize. It says up on a contract win this morning, has a significant pre-market activity. Have to buy it at VWAP or $1 at the open with a target of 116. So the question then becomes, why would you say a target of 116? Okay, because I'm looking right here. I'm not looking at this crazy wick right here. I'm not worried about this wick. I'm looking at these bodies. Yes, son. Okay, here. Let me open this one. 1 second. Yes, they are, man. Let me turn that one out. I don't like that. All right. Apologize. God, this is another part of trading. Matter of fact, because I have my kids in the morning when I'm trading. So, let me shut this window. So just imagine, all of the things that come with this. You gotta set your own parameters and what allow you to be successful. I'm just one who can work with my kids. It's not a big deal. Now look, why did I say target? Let me see, what did I say? 116? Let's see. Yep, 116. Okay. So I'm looking at this pre-market. Here's the squeeze. These people, especially these people right here, are who's going to get squeezed if this thing wants to make a move. Okay, so right here from 110, we'll just say 110 down to 1 second. 1 second. All right, sorry, man. Anyway, I was talking about the squeeze. Okay, so 110, from 110 to right here about 94 cents. Okay, so 104. So 16 cents. I see a possibility of 16 cents worth of a squeeze. Now, my philosophy has always been, if you can get 50% of the squeeze, would you be happy? And the answer is yes. So what's 50% of 16? 8. Okay, so I'm telling myself this thing should go to 118. That's my game plan. But I recognize that of the 118, I surely want to get out at 116. Okay, that's my target. And so I recognize that these stocks have a lot of energy early in the morning, especially right in the open, pretty much the first 30 minutes. These stocks, depending on how volatile they will be, they have a ton of energy, man, and so a lot of attention. And so I set my target right at the open at $1. Okay, if you can see this little wick here, takes it down to $1. I get tagged in. This thing runs right in the first 5 minutes to 15. And I'm like, oh man, so I'm a penny away from my target. What's going on? I didn't do it. So you don't know what's going to happen. And it battles back down here. It dropped to 107. And now you're like, oh man, I was right there. I was a penny away. So I reset the target to 12 because I figured it had to at least attempt high a day one more time. It ended up doing it and breaking it. It went to 118. Okay. What did I say I had that target going to? Right. But anyhow, so I recognized that, man. I adjusted on the fly. 12 cents was still a 12% gain on the day. Who's upset with making 12% on a day? I don't know that person, right? And so I did it. I set my limit immediately. When I put the first one in, it didn't work after the first 5-minute candle. So I set a second one during the second 5-minute candle. I get tagged out. Now, what happens after this does not matter to me because what I said, my theory was that up on a contract win this morning has significant pre-market activity. Have to buy it at VWAP or $1 at the open with a target of 116. Did my theory play out? Absolutely. Well, if that is the case, my friend, then it's time to go. Okay, and that's exactly what I did. Okay, now look at JAGX. Look at my notes on JAGX. Stock is up early in pre-market. Problem with the stock is that it was ramping down all pre-market. Not too interested in this one, but if I was to buy, and then I must have got distracted. But let's look at JAGX. I'll tell you where I would buy because it's gonna always be based off pre-market for me. It's just my thing. Pre-market and then on the daily stock, on the daily what do you call it? Daily chart. So if I was gonna buy this thing, so look at the open. All right, so you see this long base right here. The best place, in my opinion, to buy this stock, considering that we have an explosion here, is right here through this one right here. This is the number, which would be 138. That's where I would have bought that at. Look at it. It probably, I don't know what happened in the first 5 minutes, but I could see the low was 135, the high was 156. I don't know in what order that happened, but clearly my theory on this one was right. It's just it didn't look good. It just was ramping down pre-market, and so why trade that? So anyhow, that's why I end up trading what I traded, and I'm happy with the end result. And yeah, that's just all there is to it. So that's why I took that trade. So I just kind of like walking myself through it and talking myself through it, and these things help me later. And then of course I actually screenshot everything that I trade, and I got a whole training journal that is in a what do you call it, a PowerPoint format. So I'm hugely visual and audio, and so I just work towards that. And so writing out my game plan in the morning, all of this stuff happened. So my game plan in the morning is I'm up by 5. At 5:30, because I go like make my kids lunches and all that stuff between 5 and 5:30, which doesn't take long. And then at 5:30, I'm on a computer and I look at the recent runners, right? And so this is my game plan for this stock. If it does this today, if it does this today, this is my game plan. I made my game plan for them. And then from 5:30, I should say from 6 to 6:30, I look at the pre-market winners. And so who's doing what pre-market? And then what I do generally is you can do this in several ways. Trading view, right? So let me go back to this one. Let's look at the what was the pre-market news. Here it is right here. This is it. 15 hours ago. Okay, this is it. It says, MYO announces technology licensing program for international markets, right? So it's telling me, what the news is. I'll click on that and I'll read that. And I'll discern if I think it's important. It doesn't matter if I think it's important or not, to be quite honest with you, because the only thing that matters is what the price action does. Okay, and so, that's pretty much what I would do in order to be prepared. And I write my notes. This is my plan. So let me see what this one was. August 20, yeah. Points. Yeah, this one. See, I didn't even think this was really good news. It appointed Brian Sutton to the director, and who in the hell knows who Brian Sutton is? I didn't know who he was, and nothing jumped out when I read the article. So I was like, the daily is ugly, the pre-market is ugly. This ain't no news that matters to me. Why would it matter to anybody else? So I didn't trade it. So that's the game plan, man. I just get in there. I know what I want to dip by. I know these, and then I make a little post-it, and I put it right above my computer on the stocks that I want to dip by, so I can know exactly what price it is, and I already know the shares. So this is something that's helped me to make me faster in my executions. So if I know, I'm going to go read CETX. Stock spike yesterday, could not hold its gains, has a history of failed spikes, but not. Okay, so I wasn't happy with that. Let me go to this one. See, a recent earnings winner that is bouncing off of its lows and spiked $1 needs to panic down to $4 or $3.50 for a dip buy, or a trade as an intraday breakout above 451. So basically, I had 3 game plans for this one. If it dips, the first dip buy would be at 4, but I really like 350. The bigger the dip, the better, because the bigger the bounce. And then if it shows that it wants to be strong, since it broke out yesterday and wants some continuation, then the 451 was the breakout price. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make a post-it. I know what I want to risk. I'm risking this morning I risk 15. So I'm $1,500 divided by these 2 price points. So I know how many shares I need, so that I don't want to be thinking. I just want to look at the paper at this point, and I did the thinking early. You got to think before the game, not during the game, right? The only thing you can do during the game, think-wise, is just adjusting to what you see happening at that point. But that was it, man. So anyhow, man, hope you guys learned something from it. I'm just learning for myself. This is my trading journal. Nothing more. I ain't giving nobody no advice. I'm really talking. I'm teaching myself why I did what I did. Alrighty, y'all. Enjoy. We'll catch you on the next run, which hopefully will be tomorrow.